This week, I'll lead you through a full body strengthening Hatha Flow. And I call this a Hatha Flow because we are doing more long held poses rather than flowing from one pose to another. However, there are a couple of little elements of flow, so we still get the whole body moving all together. Let's get started. You don't necessarily need any props for this practice. However, I have a couple of blocks here as we are going to try to balance in the half moon balancing pose. So that's where a block under the hand might be quite nice. I do also have my knee pads here. We have a couple of poses on the knees. So if you know that you have sensitive knees and have something to cushion them, it could be also a towel, just something soft under the knees. But you don't need them. These props are very optional. And then when you are ready, we're going to start from lying down on the back. So we'll take an easy start in a brief Shavasana pose. You could have your legs extended or you could bend the knees. Where do you feel? You could let your hips, your legs just relax for a moment. And where you could take a moment to find your breath. Focus on your breath before we start to move. If you want, you could bring one hand onto your belly and other hand somewhere on the chest or closer to your ribs. And then take a few slightly slower, so consciously slower breaths in and out. If possible, try to inhale through the nose. And then you can exhale either through the nose or mouth, which one feels more natural to you now. And just notice where in your body you feel your breaths. As we go through the practice, through the poses, you might use your breath as a means to find some ease, release, relaxation in your body. You might use your breath as a way to engage muscles, find support in your body. And you can use your breath as a focus point, so keeping your mind on the mat, keeping your mind in this moment, and just finding that body-mind connection. Our breath can serve as a bridge between our body and mind. So let yourself stay with your breath as we start to move. Let's take another breath here, in and out. And then with your next couple of breaths, slowly bring your right knee, your right leg towards the chest, towards the belly, and extend your left leg onto the mat. And a couple of times you could gently circle the right hip. Could be a very small movement. Just gently bringing the knee towards the chest and then circling it away from the chest. You could change the direction of those circles. So just checking in with the right hip. And then again, hug the knee in towards the chest, towards the belly. And then with your next couple of breaths, with your left hand, guide your right knee towards the left side of the mat into a twist. You could open the right arm to the right side of the mat. And we don't need to bring the knee onto the mat. And also the right shoulder could be off the mat. Just send a few breaths into this twist. The left hand could stay on the right knee or right thigh, just supporting the leg. Not to push it down, but just supporting it in that twist. And then slowly bring yourself back onto your back. And then hug both knees in towards the chest. And then we'll stay with that left knee and extend the right leg down. And we'll do same on the other side. So just small circles with that left leg. You might have your both hands around the knee. Just a few circles. This side might feel different, so listen to how that left hip feels. Do you want to make the movement bigger, smaller? You could change the directions. And keep breathing. So notice where you're breathing in, where you're breathing out. And then we're going to support that left leg with the right hand and start to guide that left leg towards the right side of the mat. Again, doesn't need to go on to the floor. And you might open your left arm out to the side, to the opposite side, to the left side of the mat. And a few breaths here. Breathe down and up along the spine. Saying hello to the left side body. Saying hello to that twist along the spine. Allowing shoulders to keep or stay as soft as possible in this moment. Take one more breath here, in and out. And then slowly start to bring yourself back onto your back. Again, hug both knees in, and this time lift your chin towards the chest and reach hands towards the feet. Maybe we could take hold of the feet, or maybe holding the shins or knees, but lifting the shoulders, lifting the head off the mat, really curling into a little ball. And take a couple of breaths here. And then from this ball, we're going to try to rock ourselves up into a seat. So hold on to your feet or hold on to your shins and start to rock yourself up into a seat. And then bring yourself into a cross-legged seat. And we're going to go into some seated cat-cows. Hands could be on your knees. We're going to inhale, open the chest, the belly area just gently. And then with the out breath, round the back. You can let your pelvis tilt, bring chin towards the chest. Same again with the in breath, open through the chest, through the belly. And with the out breath, rounding the spine, chin can come towards the chest. A few more rounds, following your own breath. Let the pelvis tilt, opening the chest. And then rounding the spine. Play with your breath. With the next breath, again, opening the chest. You might look up if that feels good. And then again, rounding the back. Notice where along your spine you can find some rounding. One more round. opening the chest and rounding the back. And then bring yourself to center and either lift yourself over your shins onto all fours or lean to one side and then bring yourself onto all fours, onto hands and knees. And now if you know that you have sensitive knees, you could bring that cushioning under your knees. You decide if you tuck the toes under or just leave your feet, your ankles relaxed. And then we're going to continue with some cat-cows here. So with your next breath, round your spine. And you can tuck the tail under, bring chin towards the chest. And then with the next breath, opening through the front. And just let yourself notice how different the movement feels here. Continue with your own breath. So rounding and arching the spine. When we are seated, our pelvis is kind of rooted, anchored onto the mat. So the movement might feel different now when the pelvis is not on the mat. The pelvis can freely move. Now the weight is on the knees and the hands. Continue a couple more rounds. Breathing, rounding the spine into the cat. And breathing, arching the spine into the cow shape. We'll do one more round, following your own breath. You might take extra breaths along the way. We're also testing weight on the hands and arms. And then after that last back bend, find a neutral spine, bring your back to center. And then we're going to step the right foot forward, close to hands, leaving about 90-degree angle in the front leg and the back leg. And from there, lifting the back up. You can bring arms overhead. And you could bring hands together, kind of cross the thumbs, so you're locking your hands overhead. And then just slightly tuck the tailbone under, so kind of just slightly trying to scoop the pelvis under, a bit of engagement through the front, and either staying here, or if you feel that you want to explore leaning the pelvis just slightly forward without letting go of that scooping. And breathing there. So it could be quite a big opening along the front of that back leg. If there's any pain in the knee, just stay higher up. We don't have to lean the pelvis any further than that kind of roughly 90-degree angle. And breathing. Take another couple of breaths in and out. Keeping that scooping under going on in the pelvis. And then exhale, release the hands down. We're going to let go of that scooping. And we're going to bring both knees onto the mat or onto your knee support. And here again, you can choose to tuck the toes under, or you can keep your ankles, your feet pointed. And then again, finding that scooping idea. So trying to engage through the back side of your legs. So rather than showing the tail behind you, just a gentle scooping under, connecting your sit bones to the backs of the knees, so the backs of the legs are engaged. We'll go into a mini camel. We'll bring hands behind the pelvis or behind the lower back, elbows gently drawing in towards each other. As you inhale, lift up through the chest bone. Keep that subtle scooping going on. And then exhale. You might lean your shoulders slightly back, but that's plenty enough. So we're more just focusing on that lifting up through the chest bone, keeping that engagement going on between the sit bones and the backs of the knees. And still breathing. Can be a challenging pose for the breath. Maybe just breathing towards the chest area, so we have that deeper lower core engagement going on. Take another breath in and out, and then slowly lift yourself back to center. And we're going to go into that 90-degree angle low lunge on the other side. So now we're going to step the left foot forward, leave the right leg behind you. And again, it's just kind of a roughly 90 degrees in both legs versus leaning all the way forward. So it's not a lizard, it's a higher up low lunge. Once you've found the legs, you can find that subtle scooping under in the pelvis. We're going to inhale, lift the arms up, and this time exhale, cactus the arms. If you feel that you want to explore leaning the pelvis just slightly forward, you can, but again, keep that scooping under going on. And breathing here. If it helps, you can maintain that idea of your right sit bone connecting towards the back of that right knee. Left foot grounding onto the mat. Still breathing, tops of the shoulders soft, but like placing your arms onto a shelf. Take another breath in and out. And then as you exhale, release the arms down. And we're going to now bring both hands onto the mat. We're going to bring that left knee next to the right knee. Open your palms, your fingers onto the mat. And we're going to lift into a downward facing dog. So you can tuck the toes under and then lift your pelvis up into our first downward dog. We have a few downward dogs today. You could take a few breaths here in and out, so finding that place for your hands, for your feet, where you feel supported. Head can drop down. And now you can choose to either stay in a longer downward dog, or here you have an option to do a couple of mini flows if you want to add a bit more movement. So we could inhale, shift the weight forward, bending the knees so that the knees almost touch the mat. And then exhale, lift the pelvis back up into downward facing dog, reaching the pelvis away from the hands. We could do same another 2 times. So inhale, shift the weight forward, bending the knees almost touch the mat, and then exhale, reach the pelvis up. We could do 1 more round. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward, a bit like going into a plank, but knees bend, and then exhale, lifting back into that downward dog. If you have some knee pads there, you could push them aside. We're going to step into Warrior 1. So we're going to take the right foot, step right foot somewhere maybe behind the right wrist, turn left foot onto the mat. Right knee bent, left leg extended. And then as you inhale, start to lift your back up. You might reach arms up as well. Find a place where the weight is on both legs, Warrior 1. And then exhale, bring arms down behind the back. Reach for the opposite elbow behind the back. And now finding some opening through the chest. You might gently again lift the chest bone up. And focus on grounding down through both feet. Feeling the bases of the big toes, bases of the little toes and heels, those triangles grounding. The subtle lifting up through the arches of the feet. Take another breath here, in and out. And then we're going to exhale, release the arms from behind the back and bring palms together in front of the chest. We're going to go straight into Warrior 3. So from here, as you inhale, shift the weight forward and start to lift your left leg up into the air behind you. And you can pause anywhere along that seesaw tilt. You might go all the way to horizontal line, but you can also stop earlier. And try to feel that connection from your right sit bone down to that right heel. So maintaining activation through the back side of that right leg. There's a bit of resistance there. And breathing in and out. Finding space for the breaths. We'll take one more breath here. And then as you inhale, start to lift yourself up into a Tadasana pose, mountain pose. Bring both feet down. Just release the arms. Take a couple of breaths in and out in your mountain pose. Feeling the weight on both feet. They might feel different. The right leg has done many poses in a row, so it might be different sensation in that right leg and left leg. Feeling that grounding through the feet at the same time, lifting up through the spine. Take one more breath here, in and out. And then we're going to do the Warrior 1 and Warrior 3 on the other side. So now we're going to leave the left foot at the front, the top of the mat. Step right leg back. And in Warrior 1, I would suggest not having feet in one line, but having feet roughly hip width apart. So there's some sideways space between your feet, giving a bit wider stance. And on this side, we're going to reach arms behind the back. Now we'll try to interlace fingers, bring hands, palms together, and then inhale, lift up through the chest. Now hands and arms can gently reach down and breathing here. Again, finding that groundedness through both feet and knowing that the Warrior 3 is coming up. Can we find stability in that left leg already here? Can we find softness in the upper body? Support through the lower body. And the breath. Is there space for your breath? Take another breath in Warrior 1. And then as you exhale, release the arms. Bring palms together in front of the chest. You might find your spine rearranging itself as well. As you inhale, start to shift the weight forward onto your left foot. And slowly lift lifting the right leg up behind you. And again, we are tilting forward, but still maintaining that connection from your left side sit bone down to the left heel. So that same connection we were looking for earlier in those squared lunges and that mini camel. Feeling that connection through the back side of the leg. The pelvis is definitely tilting more forward, but still maintaining that connection. Take another couple of breaths in and out. And then this time round, we're going to step that right foot back down, lift the back up. You can release the arms and then turn towards the long side of the mat into a wide-legged standing pose. So we have feet quite wide apart. We're going to go into a wide-legged forward bend. You might even turn your toes slightly inwards if that gives you a better, more stable stance. Hands around the pelvis. Inhale, just open the chest very lightly. You might look up, and as you exhale, tilt forward through the pelvis. So come about halfway down into a flat back. Pause there to breathe in. And then as you exhale, you can fold further down. You can start to round the back. If you want, you could bring fingertips or even hands onto the mat. And head can drop down. Keep the front of the legs engaged. So now we are opening more through that back line. Couple of breaths here, in and out. You might walk your hands further back between the feet if that feels good. And then slowly, as you breathe in, lift yourself back halfway up into that flat back. Exhale, bring hands again around the pelvis. And then with the next in-breath, lifting up. Now really using that back side to lift you up. And then you can roll the shoulders. Take a couple of breaths here, in and out. We're going to continue with some standing poses. We're going to go into triangles, and then we have that balancing half moon pose. So if you know that you want to use a block, just make sure you have a block somewhere nearby. But we'll start with the triangle. Let's go to the right side first. So now just slightly rotate that right hip open. You can close the left hip more. And we're going to inhale, open arms out to the sides. Exhale, start to tilt from the pelvis, tilting towards that right leg. You might bend the right knee slightly. And bring your right hand somewhere on the inside of that right leg. Trying not to lean onto the leg, but really using more the core strength through the side body to maintain that triangle. You might keep reaching left arm up, or you might bring that left hand arm behind the back. If neck feels tense, you can look down towards the mat. Or you might look up towards the ceiling, trying to keep the chest open, turn towards the side of the mat. And breathing here. Trying to find that long line from head to tail. Take another breath in and out, still feeling that connection from your sit bones down to the heels in both legs. And then as you inhale, reach up through that left arm to lift yourself up. You can release the arms, close the feet. You could circle the pelvis a little bit. And then we'll do same to the other side. So now we could stay the same way and just turn towards the left foot. And you can rotate the left hip open. You can close the right hip more if that feels good. Again, the front leg could be bent, especially if you have tendency to lock the knee. Just keep it slightly bent. And then inhale, reaching the arms out. And as you exhale, start to tilt through the pelvis towards that left leg. Now left hand somewhere on the inside of that left leg. Again, we try not to lean onto the leg or not leaning onto the mat, but kind of hovering that hand, hovering that arm there. Right arm could reach up, or we could bring that right arm behind the back. And breathing here, again, a long line from head to tail. Both feet, both legs grounding, connecting to the pelvis and through the pelvis, through the spine, into the head. So it's all connected from ground up to the head. Let's take another breath in and out. And then with that right arm, reach up, lift yourself back up to standing. You can release the arms, close the feet, and you can move the pelvis a bit. And then we're going to look for that standing, balancing half moon. So if you like to use a block under your hand here, you are very welcome to bring the block somewhere at the top of the mat, near the right foot. We're going to turn back to the right foot. And we're going to go into the balancing pose on the right leg first. Similar beginning as for the triangle. So reach your arms out. And as you exhale, tilt forward over that right leg, but going even further now, lifting the left leg up into the air. So you might use a block there under the left hand, keeping the chest open. If you start to feel secure, you might also hover the right arm in the air. So left arm is up, reaching towards the ceiling. Right hand kind of reaching down towards the mat. You might have fingertips on the mat as well if that's your version of the pose. Breathing here. And then slowly inhale, start to lift up, bringing that left foot down. Coming back to center, releasing the arms, closing the feet, the hips. Maybe moving the shoulders. And we'll do same on the left leg. So finding that gentle opening through the left hip. Again, if you want to use a block, you could bring that block somewhere close to the left foot. And then as you inhale, lengthen arms out. And slowly start to reach over that left leg. You might reach left hand onto a block, right arm reaching up. And keeping the chest open to the side. Or again, if you feel stable, maybe the left hand can hover off the mat, off the block. Feeling that connection again from that left sit bone down to the left heel, through the back of the leg. And breathing in and out. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to bring the feet closer together. So lift yourself up to standing. Bring your feet into mountain pose. Right foot finds the left leg. And reach both arms up, just lengthening through the sides. And exhale, bend down into a full forward bend. Head can drop down. You can take a couple of breaths here, in and out. Softening through the backside. We've worked on it quite a lot. Take another couple of breaths here, in and out. Again, the front of the legs staying active, opening through the backside. And then we're going to stay down and walk into a downward facing dog. So walking hands and feet apart. And again, you have an option. Either stay in this downward dog, so you could make this into a long downward dog, or if you want to move a bit, get the full body moving, we could do 3 of those mini flows that we did earlier. So if you want, you can inhale, shift the weight forward over the hands, bend the knees, almost touching the mat, and exhale, reach pelvis back up into downward dog. And we could do the same again. Inhaling forward, knees coming down, and then exhaling, reaching the pelvis up. If you want, one more time. Inhale, shifting forward, knees almost touching the mat, and then exhale, lifting up. Head can drop down. Take another breath or two in your downward dog. And then as you exhale, bring both knees onto the mat. And then we're going to do a little pressure massage for our calves. So now you can release your feet and then bend or fold your right ankle into kind of that, almost that knee crease, almost at the back of the left knee, so that your right ankle is somewhere on top of that left calf muscle. And then we start to lean the weight back so that we would find ourselves in a place where we are finding a bit of pressure, a bit of kind of massaging on that left calf. You might come down onto elbows and forearms, but the intention is to have those right ankle bones very gently digging into that left calf muscle, giving it a bit of gentle pressure, gentle massage, and breathing in and out. If you have tight calves, this might be painful. For me, it personally is, so keep breathing through that gentle pressure massage. And then slowly release. Walk yourself back forward. Release that right ankle, right foot. We are going to do the same to the other side. So now we're going to take the left ankle and bring it somewhere onto that right calf muscle. Again, it's between you and your body, how close to the knee crease or kind of halfway through to the ankle your left ankle is. So find a place where there's the belly of the calf muscle. And then once you've found that place, again, lean your pelvis back to a place where you can use that right ankle as a gentle pressure tool on that right calf muscle. Of course, be mindful of your knees. There should be no pain in the knees. Finding a place that gives you gentle pressure. Trying to relax shoulders, neck, and breathing down where you feel the pressure most. Take another breath in and out. And then again, slowly start to release. Bring yourself onto all fours. If you want to kind of shake the calves a bit, you can do that. And then we are going to bring ourselves to lie down on the back. So turn onto your back, and we're going to just take a couple of breaths here. You might swing the legs a bit from side to side. And then we're going to do a little bit of core work. Not too much, but just checking in with the abdominals, the hip flexors. And we're going to start by lifting both legs up into the air. Bring hands behind the neck, behind the head. And from here, leave your left hand behind the head. And then reach your right hand to the outside of that left foot as you lower your right leg almost down to the mat. So we're kind of twisting towards the left, reaching the hand to the outside of that left foot, trying to get into the obliques a bit. Same to the other side. So we're going to bring right hand behind the head and then reach the left hand to the outside of the right foot. Left leg goes down, almost touching the mat. So your left shoulder, head are off the mat. And then we'll repeat this another 5 rounds, just a bit faster. Inhaling to center, exhaling to left. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the right. Inhaling to center, exhale to the left. Inhaling to center, exhale to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Inhale to center, exhale to right. 2 more rounds. Follow your breath. Keeping the shoulders, keeping the head floating off the mat. 1 more round. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. And then come back to center. Hug the knees in. You could bring head down to the mat. Hug the knees in. You could rock a bit from side to side. And then we're going to rock ourselves up into a seat. So hold onto your feet or ankle or knees and rock yourself slowly up into a seat. We're going to go into the boat pose. So now lean your back slightly back. So you find this kind of V shape from your thighs to your back, opening the chest. And see if you could lift one leg, the other foot up off the mat. So your knees find this roughly 90-degree angle. And you can either keep your knees your hands behind the knees, maybe flexing the ankles. Or you might not hold your legs, reach arms next to your legs, keeping the chest lifted and breathing. Maybe the breaths just go towards the chest, so keep that subtle lift up through the chest. Hip flexors working quite hard. Abdominals working as well. Take another couple of breaths in and out. Inner thighs active. And then exhale. Bring your feet down. Roll down onto your back. Bring arms down next to your side and bend the knees so that you have your both feet on the mat. We'll go into the bridge pose. So once you're ready, exhale, press down through the feet to lift your pelvis, to lift your back off the mat. And you might keep your arms where they are, or you can walk shoulder blades a bit closer together, even interlock fingers under the pelvis, under the back. And then breathing here. If you feel that there's no room to lift up, you might walk your feet further away from the head so it becomes a bit wider. Bridge pose. And feeling that connection through the back side, from your heels, through the back of the legs, into the sit bones. From the pelvis, through the back of the spine, to the back of the shoulders, into the arms. Making sure there is room for your neck, so your neck or throat are not squished. Take another breath or two in and out. And then slowly exhale. Start to release the pose, releasing arms, releasing the back. If you feel that you want to hug the knees in, you might bring knees in towards the belly, towards the chest. And we still have one more twist. We're going to go into the full reclining twist, this time with both legs bent. So with your next couple of breaths, lower your both knees towards the right side of the mat, leaving your chest open, maybe opening the left arm out to the side if you want. Head could turn to one side or the other. And then let yourself just breathe here. You could soften the belly. You could let go of core support and just let your whole body become a bit heavier. Take another breath in and out. Then slowly, slowly bring yourself back onto your back. And we'll do the same to the other side. So now bring both knees towards the left side of the mat, leaving chest open. Maybe opening the right arm out to the right side of the mat. Again, you can let your breath slide down and up along the spine, allowing each breath out to soften tension wherever there might be tension. You might even let out a sigh through the mouth. Give yourself another few breaths in this twist. And then after those few breaths, slowly again roll down onto your back. And then we're going to find our Shavasana pose, our final resting pose. And it could be lying down on the back if that feels good. You could also come lie down on your belly if that's something you would like to add to your practice now. Legs and arms in any shape of your choice. Where do you feel you could let your whole body rest and take a moment to relax at the end of your practice. Give yourself another few breaths in and out. Maybe a few just slightly deeper, bigger breaths, allowing yourself to feel the movements of your breaths. And together with those breaths, you could start to bring some gentle movement to your fingers, your toes, moving your hands, moving your feet. Maybe even lengthening arms overhead along the floor. Gently waking up your body from that resting pose. And then slowly roll down onto one side, either the left or the right side, which one feels more natural to you. And bring yourself up into a seat, into your own final seat. Any pose, any shape where you could leave your hips, leave your back, your shoulders soft. And where you could give yourself another few breaths in and out. If it's a part of your practice, you could bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for taking this time to move, to breathe, to check in with yourself. And I thank you very much for joining in, for sharing this time and sharing this practice. Namaste. Thank you.